Well, new developments tonight in a years-long 13 investigation. Darcy Spears first exposed a local contractor who was quick to take legal action against his own customers, sometimes leaving them in fear of losing their own homes. Now, a few of the homeowners are starting to get a little help, but some say the system is flawed.
Our investigation of a pair of companies owned by the same man revealed he filed dozens of liens on homes after abandoning the projects. 4 homeowners got some of their money back through the state's Residential Recovery Fund, a program that's supposed to help homeowners harmed by unscrupulous builders. But we're learning it's not nearly enough.
Next up, I have Julia and Mary Nikolova. And this is, again, Bulmer Restoration is the licensee.
Julia Nikolova has been fighting for justice ever since Bulmer Restoration left her kitchen in shambles. We featured her in our first investigation after a small leak in the kitchen sink ended up costing her nearly $40,000.
The staff is recommending an award of $1,998.93. Is that correct?
A pittance, says Julia, estimating it's only about 10% of her out-of-pocket expenses.
It was not what I was expecting.
Julia was hoping for a lot more, considering the contractors board permanently revoked the licenses for Bulmer Restoration and Ruderman Plumbing following our investigation. Both companies were owned by this man, former UNLV soccer player Eduardo Arredondo.
And there he is.
The board charged Arredondo's parent company with 109 violations and found him guilty last October of fraudulent or deceitful acts, failure to comply with contract, bidding beyond scope of license, and abandonment. The board also issued fines totaling nearly $1 million. For many customers of Bulmer Restoration, that was just one step in a long journey.
Yes, I initially had my kitchen destructed on December 4th, 2019.
Just a few months before the pandemic shut everything down. Julia had to live with a torn-up, non-functioning kitchen for nearly a year, forcing her to cook with a crock pot or microwave and spend thousands on takeout to fill the gaps.
So I filed the complaint back in December 23rd, 2019. And I finally heard from the Recovery Fund in March 2022. So that's a very long way, almost going over 2 years to hear from them.
Eventually, Julia's homeowners insurance paid another company to put her kitchen back together, and she got about $5,300 from the required bonds Arredondo's company held. But that leaves her with thousands in out-of-pocket expenses, money she won't recoup through the state.
You're not allowed to recover pain and suffering, legal fees.
The board is only allowed to reimburse direct costs.
They said that they're bound by the statute they operate under, and they can't reimburse me for my full out-of-pocket expense.
The board has a total of 15 filed claims for recovery funds related to Bulmer and Ruderman. They've heard 4 cases so far, including Julia's. Another homeowner received about $1,500, the amount he applied for in his claim. The other 2 homeowners were reimbursed more than $10,000 each. Why such a huge difference? In an email, a board spokesperson wrote, "Each case is investigated and facts for each claim are different. All factors are taken into consideration upon issuing decision on the claim by the Residential Recovery Fund Committee." Julia is beyond frustrated.
And that this is not really giving fair opportunity of the homeowners to get reimbursed by faulty contractors.
She thought she did the right thing by hiring a licensed and bonded company, so she believes the board should do more when the companies they regulate cause so much damage.
They allowed that contractor to operate without business insurance, no business liability insurance, and with that decision by itself, and with allowing him to operate with 2 bonds with only $10,000 each, on the scope of the damages, it was robbing the homeowner basically to get a full reimbursement of their expenses.
The Contractors Board says there is no state law requiring contracting companies to carry liability insurance. Julia says that needs to change.
This has been going for too long without anybody addressing it.
We've learned several homeowners are trying to get their liens removed through the bankruptcy case Arredondo filed last spring, but that is like pouring salt on a wound. In order to get the liens released and court cases dismissed, the homeowners have to pay Arredondo's bankrupt company anywhere from $500 to $33,000. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.